All right. Hello, everybody. I hope your weekend is getting off to a great start. For those of you that are already into the week, I hope your week is getting off to a great start. It's good to see everybody today, and we have a really exciting topic that you chose. First and foremost, my name is Nicholas Ashbaugh. Welcome. Welcome to your weekly collective reading. We'll talk more about this in just a second. Got my little friend Apollo here, which is going to help kick things off. My name is Nicholas Ashbaugh. In this reading today, we're going to look at the next 7 days, and I'm going to help you navigate all the opportunities, all the challenges that are presenting themselves. And additionally, we have a special topic which has to do with doing the inner work to attract partnerships. And let me just clarify a little bit. When I was setting this up, my idea of this could be partnerships in a broad sense. So for those of you that are looking for love, this is helping you align to that highest frequency partnership out there by working on yourself. For those of you looking for a business opportunity, this could also be about making sure that you're aligning yourself to the best possible business partnership or friendship. Because relationships, kind of like love with a capital L, relationships with a capital R, it really hits on all of those different areas. It's not just love. And for those of you that are already in a relationship, we're going to still be looking at the inner work. So today is one of those readings that I really look forward to because that's my sort of specialty, is helping you find that sort of inner magic, that special sort of completion to your puzzle so that you can really be the best you. And when you are your best self and when you're really sitting in that sort of energy of joy, power, confidence, knowledge, that's when you meet that special someone, whether they are someone that you're looking to date or someone that you're looking to partner up with. Okay? So that's the special topic. I got ahead of myself a little bit. As you can see here, here's the format today. We'll go through channeled messages, 7-day forecast, blessings and blocks. I only have one part that's specific to signs, and that's the elemental forecast. Then we'll get into a viewer's choice and then the special topic that we talked about. If you have a really specific question, I would ask that you hold it until the end and then just meditate on that. And that's when I answer anything that's going on in your life that's too specific for a general reading, okay? I have two moderators today, both Maria and Dakota. Please treat them with some love and respect. They're here to help keep things organized, help direct you if you have any questions, and just hopefully make this a great experience for all of us. All right, let's light candles today during Benediction. I don't always do that, but it felt like the right thing to do today. So let's do that. Hey, buddy. How's it going? All right, so what I like to do when we have collectives, and also just when I'm called to sort of do this, is to set a blessing, set an intention, and I'll bring all the candles forward as we do this so you can hear what I'm saying. The first is to connect with Source. Each of us think about Source, call Source, or understand Source as something different, whether you think of it as God or if it's polytheistic and it's a lot of different energies, doesn't matter. We're just going to that energy that connects us all right? So close your eyes for a second. See the sun shining down on you, warming up your body and creating this perfect circle of light around wherever you are seated. And if you're walking or moving, then the same sort of thing. You could just see it moving with you. As we connect to this light, let's just ask for guidance and protection throughout this reading and throughout all the days of our life. Nice deep breath, inhale, see that light come within you. Thank you, Source Energy, for being present and for bringing the highest energy. Please protect us, please guide us. All right. I like to work with archangels. You can work with any energy you'd like. Let's put the first candle as a protective candle. So I'll work with Archangel Michael, asking for protection, allowing only the highest energies to pass through, those of that divine energy that we just called God, or whatever you want to call it, or higher. So the highest energy in the universe, nothing less. Thank you, Archangel Michael, for your presence and protection. Since I channel energy and I'll be working with cards today, I like to work with Archangel Gabriel, a really good angel for working with cards or working with tapping into your own intuition. So Archangel Gabriel, please guide us and protect us and be a filter through which only the highest energy can come through. Help me choose the right words, help other people understand what I'm communicating so that today can be a wonderful experience for all. Archangel Raphael, allow for healing to take place today, especially when it comes to releasing old paths or things that no longer suit us. To any additional ascended guides, masters, or angels that want to come through the help of the last three that I just mentioned, you're welcome. Please help guide us and bring the messages forth. And to all of you, thank you so much for showing up today. Again, great to see you. And a reminder here, we're going to start with channeled messages at the beginning. Channeled messages, for me, are really exciting to work with because it's just raw intuition. A lot of what we do here is working with cards and different modalities, but this is just what comes to me in dreams and meditation. So let me get the presentation set up and then we'll move straight into it. I actually met your totem today when I was taking a hike yesterday, and I have a little picture of it as well, so hopefully you'll enjoy that. All right, so as we get into today's message here, we'll be focusing on a gecko or a lizard, and a gecko is really a type of lizard, so we won't splice or split hairs on what it is. It's a little bit of both. Just a small lizard is basically what I saw, and here's a picture of it. And it was really cool because there are actually two different animals and insects that I saw, but this is the one that stuck out the most. If you're not paying attention, you don't see a gecko or a lizard that easily. It was only when he moved a little bit that I was like, oh, there you are. Hello. So one thing that this totem showed me in real time and just through its own actions is the importance of sometimes blending in and just watching what's going on, observing, sometimes letting people reveal their true colors, their ambitions, their hopes, their fears, etc. And then stepping forward with that knowledge kind of like in your head, knowing what you're dealing with. If you just sort of like jump straight into a situation without assessing what's been going right, what's been going wrong, and also what the motivation is of the person or the people with whom you're working, you could be setting yourself up for more challenges than you need to. So this little tricky gecko was a reminder that, hey, I'm watching. Of course, it uses the element of surprise to get a lunch and also to hide from predators. But it's also a really cool symbol for knowing how and when to sort of like navigate through things and just sort of disappear and then appear. So that element of surprise can actually really help you stand out. Here's some fun facts that I learned about this morning as I was researching geckos. They're reptiles. They're found all across the globe. They've done a great job adapting to almost every environment, from a desert to a rainforest and everything in between. One thing that is kind of interesting with the tail on a gecko is it's not just there for fun. It helps it balance. Sometimes it helps it blend in. It also stores energy. So the fact that a gecko can lose its tail, it's not something that it takes lightly, because that's its store of fat and energy in case it can't get food for a little bit. And to regenerate a tail takes some time and energy, and it's a big sacrifice, actually. So when we're looking at just the tail, I could have done like 5 slides here, but I'm just going to talk in real time. The first thing that would come through is like 2 of Pentacles. Work-life balance, choices in your life. Are you making intelligent choices? Is something taking too much away from something else? So you have a choice to make, a 2 of Pentacles moment. The other thing is saving up for a rainy day, that store of energy. To me, this is kind of like making sure that if you're going to start something new, like a business, or if you're quitting a job, or if you're going to buy a house, this is making sure that you have a contingency fund to take care of things like repairs or your own sort of health issues that might pop up. You don't want to lose or use all of the energy or money. So another card that would come through, because it has the message of this, is the 7 of Pentacles. 2 of Pentacles, 7 of Pentacles are like cousins, because the 2 of Pentacles is saying, remember to make a good choice so you don't set yourself off balance. The 7 of Pentacles can kind of already be a little bit imbalanced, and it's saying, I should have listened a little bit more. I'm going to try to do this better in the future. I'm not going to repeat this mistake. So make sure that you're not over-promising, that you're not extending yourself too far, that you're really keeping the necessary balance, that you're using the 6 of Pentacles opportunity of saying this, not this, okay? And the last thing here again is if something's not worth it, the losing of the tail could actually be the Five of Swords, because you're just going to cut your losses and walk away from a situation where there isn't a true winner. Five of Swords, nobody wins. Everybody ends up getting upset. There's a lot of words that are said. It bothers you. There's a point where you just decide to move on. Arguably, one of the positive energies that could be in like the Seven of Swords is the person's moving on. And they're not going to get involved with that because sometimes you can't win with the 5 and the 7. 5, usually someone just doesn't want to listen. 7, someone doesn't want to admit something, or they're legitimately just trying to get away with something. So this gecko is understanding when it's time to move on and it's time to go into another direction. What I liked about this particular totem for you is that it's all about adaptability. So basically, if you're thrown any sort of challenge, you have what it takes to make it work, to make it happen, okay? It may be, the biggest challenge for you might actually be in standing out. Because if we go back to that earlier slide, here it is, you can see him really blending in, and most of the hikers that were just going about their business didn't even give this a second thought. I'm the one that's using my camera to kind of like zoom in on flowers and bugs and the sky and different things because I like to see what's going on around me, and they were probably thinking, who's that crazy guy doing that? But I'm fascinated by the small things sometimes. So what this is telling me is like, make sure that you're not taking someone for granted around you. Make sure you're not taking yourself for granted. Just because you've blended in, it doesn't mean that you're any less intelligent, have any less leadership capabilities, or are any less deserving of an opportunity. In fact, the reason I chose the Three of Pentacles is you've learned, you've observed, you've integrated. This actually, in many situations, makes you an even stronger candidate for consideration for something. Don't shy away from opportunities. It's up to you. You can do whatever you want, but I'm being sort of pushed here with this totem to tell you that you have ability. And a lot of these words actually have ability, or that sort of part of the word as part of the root here. So visibility, accountability, responsibility, adaptability, ability. So you can adapt. You can respond to something. You can also take ownership of something. All of these things are going to help you get to the next level. A fear of the being seen, basically the visibility, could hold you back. But remember here with the Three of Pentacles, you've learned everything. Recognition is a natural piece to this card. A lot of times people see this as going back to school, finishing something, writing something, perfecting something, but I also see it as your moment to shine. Recognition for a job well done, standing out when someone least expects it. So I feel like that's where you're headed. All of this energy, and if you've never seen it, I brought this card up on the display for a reason, because if you look at the King of Wands on his throne, you'll see geckos. Let me see if I can pull the card up here in the deck that I have nearby. But basically, this is reminding you that leadership opportunities are available to you. I'm going to highlight a few of the court cards here. With the King of Wands, one thing that I like about him is his ability to develop and to basically take something to the next level. Develop ideas, to lead, and to also integrate. Good, I found the two that I wanted to see. All right, so let me just take this off the screen for a second. Let me make sure that I can see what you're seeing. And here's the King card, and if you look in the background, you can see some lizards. There's also a lion and some other things, but leadership. And there we go. There's a little gecko at the bottom, right? So pay attention to the small stuff. People don't look at cards like the little things. Nothing's accidental in these cards. So, you know, you hear me talk about the snail and the Nine of Pentacles. But yeah, we have lizards, and a lot of times in different suits, you'll see the lizard or chameleon or gecko highlighted somewhere in wands. So in a salamander as well. It's showing the ability to flex your power, to get in and out of situations. It's a really cool symbol for this particular message today. Okay, so anyway, as I said, leadership is at hand if you're ready and willing to go there. Next piece, create some movement. And I was looking at this one. I don't really see any more lizards. I think it was mostly on that previous one. But create some movement in your life. It's not necessarily about being first, but you certainly don't want to be last either. So I think what's important is to be able to take something and develop it as you go along. So there are times and places where you want everything buttoned up and perfect. An example of this is a sort of an engineering feat. So if we send something into outer space, it better be right the first time. It's very hard to fix it once it's in orbit, and if it's going out into the outer solar system like a probe or something, it has to be right. And it's better to wait and have perfection than to have an issue like we did with the Hubble telescope where we had to put like a special lens on. So in that situation, yes. But other situations, it's more important to work together and develop it together, because sometimes we can't solve a problem all on our own. And partnership is part of the topic you chose today. So with the Knight of Wands, you can lead the charge, but you can also work together. So brainstorming, partnerships, teamwork, all of that's going to help create the momentum and move this further, farther, faster. And I think that's the important thing here. It can also help you from overthinking or getting you out of sort of like a group think where everybody's sort of on the same page, but not kind of like pushing it in a sort of direction that could create change or the necessary momentum or movement. Set a good example, since we're working with the Wands card here. The Queen of Wands is one of my favorite court cards because she has the power and the energy and the insight to focus and create sort of like magic, but she has to be focused. So being a boss and being bossy, or leading and being a boss, it's not all the same. So bossiness is just telling people what to do. Leadership is embodying the how, the why, the when, like basically mind, body, and spirit, leading by example. So it's walking the walk, not just talking the talk, and not just pointing the finger. And so you want to seek out people, experiences, groups that have that sort of sense of accountability and leadership. And of course, you want to embody it yourself. If there's any part of your life that's missing that, that's where you want to focus. Let people come to you. Really put your energy into things that are going to be a return on your energetic investment. And for the rest of it, it's not worth it. There's something better that you can put your time and energy into. I was also shown an elevator as I was just closing my eyes before I got started today. And it signals upward momentum and movement, but it's also about elevating everything. So as an extension of that Queen of Wands card, thoughts, actions, and words should be elevated, especially when other people cannot do it. So that's when you're going to show up as the kind of person that people want to spend their time and energy with, that people want to choose again for some sort of opportunity in the future, because you know what to do, you know how to do it, and you know how to treat people as well. Stepping into something new is your final message for the channeled portion here, because I was shown a beetle like a scarab beetle, which is death and rebirth. I really wanted to focus on the Fool portion of this, which is like the reset on the major arcana. You go from the Fool to the world, and then you go back to the Fool. So there's this fork in the road, a figurative fork, where you can either do more of the same or you can try something new. And the sort of experiential portion here is requiring the leap of faith that can only happen with the Fool card. So today we're going to be looking at, are you ready in the week ahead? And as we go into the timeless portion, which is the special topic on how to do the inner work to attract the highest possible frequency relationships and partnerships, we'll see if there's some things that you can do to really empower yourself. Okay? I'm going to pour some water. We'll talk about what's coming next here. We're going to look at the 7-day forecast next, which is going to lead you through all of the opportunities, high, low, and in between, to kind of help you be the best that you can be. It's going to look at Sunday to Sunday. And one thing that I like to talk about here is that everything that I'm doing is really to help set you up for empowerment. So I don't believe in fear-based readings. I think that whatever cards are coming through, they're going to help you really discern between what's worth your time and energy and what isn't. All right, so let me get everything set up here. And I'm going to choose a deck. I'll let you vote on the main one. I may just sort of, usually in this portion, I just choose what I feel like. For this portion, I think I'm going to do Afro Goddess because it hasn't won most of the polls. It's been a while since I've looked at it. And then we'll do something different for the main spread. All right. So let's get started, everyone. We're going to look at the next 7 days, again, going from Sunday to Sunday. Fantastic. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then next weekend, Saturday. There's our Queen of Wands, and Sunday. Okay, so let's get talking. I'm so happy that the energy for today is the Magician. You have the power. You also have the sort of responsibility to choose. What is it that you want to do? How are you going to do this? There is some leadership and some focus or concentration that's intrinsic to this particular card, at least the success of it. What I also like, and that we don't always pay attention to, is the right where we see the halo or nimbus above her, we see that infinity symbol. Whatever you decide to really put your energy and time into right now could be something that is substantial, that is lasting, that could really make a significant impact on your life and on others. So my question to you is, what is it that you really see yourself doing in the long run? I think a lot of us are guilty from time to time of simply deciding that, this is what's in front of me, this is what I'm going to focus on. It's not really what I'm interested in, but it's here. I want you to sort of think a little bit more about what else you want to be doing, like legacy-wise or impact-wise for the planet. Is this really fulfilling your higher purpose, your heart's desire? Because if it's not, what the card for today is saying is, how can you realign to something of that nature? Anything you decide to put your energy in today is going to be good. So if you're going to some sort of a gathering later, it's going to be fun. You're going to have good chemistry with the people there. If you decide to focus on getting your financial affairs in order, good for you. You're going to make a lot of progress. Anything you want to do, you can do today, but you have to decide what you want to do. Otherwise, you're just ambling about. So make a decision today. Focus on that. See it through. All right? The Magician is really good for just being able to bring all those little pieces together. So Sunday is going to be a great day. And if you're already kicking off the week, like if you're watching me in Australia or something, you still have some of that energy available to you, so you can pull it into what we see here for Monday, where I think you might need a little bit more assistance here. So in Monday, we have the Five of Pentacles, but it is in the reverse state. The interesting thing with this is we see like the change of seasons, and we're really still on that precipice. We just went through equinox. So some of you are in spring, some of you are in fall. You're either seeing the world go to sleep or you're seeing the world awaken. As a card for yourself, this particular energy is some of the same. So some of you might be feeling like I'm uninspired, right? So I keep doing what I'm doing, but I feel like there has to be something more. And some of you might be feeling also like, wow, I just finally discovered this is what makes me, sort of like excited about the world. This is what turns me on energetically, but do I have enough? Can I do this? Will this be okay? Confidence is always a big part of this. So as we look at the energy of Monday, I think the biggest thing for you is realizing, as we see here, it's an opportunity to open a new door or to let go of something. In the past, what you want to let go of, or what I would encourage you to let go of, is feelings of inadequacy that were projected upon you by parents, teachers, quote unquote friends, people around you that should have had your best interests at hand but didn't. Because some people would like you behind that gate, behind the curtain, rather than walking through it. And the true reason that they said you couldn't do it or tried to hold you back from something or didn't let you know about an opportunity was so they could keep you closer. And that's kind of like a possessive energy. So there are some people who didn't want you to leave them. There could have been other people that just lacked the imagination or the trust or the faith in you that you could do it. And, there was something that went on in a chat room the other day that bothered me, where someone was just talking about how they looked at their kid as just being a troublemaker and, said some unsavory things. And then they said that they said that to them. And I think that's not a healthy attitude. When it comes to kids, when it comes to partners, when it comes to people that you trust and that you love, you should always help them see what's best and what's possible. So in the case of a child, and in this case, maybe even your inner child, if someone else couldn't do that for you, you need to do it for yourself. So you should be saying, you have so much capacity. Let me help you. What can I do? How can I be there for you? And if someone's bullying somebody, like a friend of yours, or if you're being bullied or whatever, you could just say, this doesn't work. I know who I am, and you're just projecting out your own inadequacies on me. So let's not throw out barbs at people and negativity, especially young children or people in our life that are impressionable. We want to do the reverse, which is what we were talking about in the Queen of Wands. So I think the important thing is to say, I believe in you. Let's make this happen. Are you ready? I think you should always ask this though. Are you ready to do the work? Are you ready to turn the corner? If you are, you have an advocate in me. If you're not, you've got to do that internal work first. But I'm here for you. I believe in you. When you believe in yourself, come to me because we can make this happen. Okay? So if you needed to hear that from somebody else, like, I'm just going to let you know, I believe in you. Are you ready to do the work? If you are, you're in the right place, okay? This whole thing today is going to set you up for success. So if your partner, your ex or your current partner, who may not be the highest frequency, can't see it, that's what today is about, is how to raise your own frequency. So that doesn't bother you and you pull in someone higher frequency, okay? And when it comes to children, always elevate, always show them what's possible. Never sit there and tell them everything that's wrong. They get enough of that, right? It's important to hold children accountable, of course, but let's also show them the light and show them the way and show them some support. I was really fortunate that my parents never did that to me, never sort of did the negative portion of that. I had a teacher, just as a sidebar, and it was kindergarten, first grade, actually, it was first grade. She said he's never going to make it through high school. And my dad was like, what are you talking about? He's just having fun. He's just a little kid and I'm not going to destroy his spirit. My mom was the same way. It wasn't until the third grade that I kind of clicked. I was a late bloomer when it came to studying and working. So had I stayed with that old school system or had my parents listened, I wouldn't be here doing what I'm doing. So see beyond the block and see beyond the behavior. There's something else. And so for you, if someone couldn't see it, I see it. If someone in your life is acting up, look beyond the behavior and go to the source. And that's what Monday's about. It's not what it seems. When it comes to money and investment, just to go on to the regular energy of this, I would say make sure that you're not selling yourself short. So don't do too much for too little. Don't ask someone to do a lot without paying them. We need balance, okay? So a lot to unpack on Monday, but that card reminded me of something that I needed to say there, so I hope that that helps everybody. We see more balance and more energy coming through on Tuesday. This is a really good day to get work done. We have the Eight of Pentacles here, and I love how we see this person just sort of like perfecting everything and working on it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I just like to, it's a different illustration, so I wanted to make sure. What I like about this is attention to details. Really making sure that you are happy with it. So this is the one day where you can stress out about perfection. It's a good day for looking at documents, contracts, revising, updating, or perfecting them as needed. If you want to learn anything or apply any knowledge or skills, this is a great day to do all of the aforementioned. Let's pull the card closer here as well. I'd say the only thing that I would do is kind of take a chance to get perspective. We see her like in the throes of creation. Sometimes when we do that, we don't always take care of our mind, body, and spirit. So make sure on Tuesday that you're taking breaks, taking time to, drink, eat, sleep. And the other thing here is, if you're feeling that sense of being uninspired, which could be a result of people saying you can't do it, reading, watching, listening to something that you really love could help you. So a podcast, a movie, a book, something to inspire. So have some fun on that as well. It doesn't have to all be work. It can just be getting lost in something beautiful, okay? As we go to the mid part of the week, this is a chance to finish. So we have editing here and we have completion here as we go to Wednesday. The 10 of Wands on this one is also about feeling like I'm not burdened by this. This is not something that I can't handle. This is exactly what I've been setting myself up for. I'm also ready to move on and to let it go. Normally in the 10 of Wands, we see someone carrying a very heavy load on their back and sort of looking up at the hill thinking, can I do this? How long is this going to take? And this 10 of Wands, we see someone balancing it, all of this sort of energy on her crown chakra. And so if you can put things in perspective, I think that's what this card says really nicely, right? You can do this. It's all in your it's in your head. It's how you approach it. When you think to yourself, I've called this in, I'm ready for this, I've got this, it starts to manifest and everyone starts to kind of trust you. You start to trust yourself. So find a way to get you wrap your head around the positivity of something, and then also see the light at the end of the tunnel. If you feel like there's too much pressure, because this still can be a pressure card, talk to someone, delegate, and take a little bit of a break, but you're very close to completion. So I would say try not to give up, push through, and with the 10 of Wands, there's no reason that you have to do it alone. If you've gotten this far, I would imagine that the 10 of Cups and the 10 of Pentacles energy is right around you as well. So people and resources are there. Pull at that a little bit. You don't have to be like Atlas and carry the entire weight of the world on your back. Okay? You have a really great day as we look towards the end of the week. Thursday is when things start to happen. They happen faster than you think. You may second guess yourself because High Priestess in reverse, she's excellent at manifestation, but she lacks belief. So faith, hope, and belief are coming into question here, but for no good reason. Because this is the only day that's a little tricky is Monday, but the rest of the week we see a lot of movement. We see some great things happening on the weekend. And for some reason, there's this question of, did I do this? Is this really happening? Is it me? Do they really like me? Yeah, all of this stuff is okay. So if you start to see positive movement or momentum in your life, trust that you've done the work to bring it about. Now, if there's something that you see and you don't want to pay attention to, like I need to talk to this person because they're misbehaving, or this is too good to be true, or there's more than meets the eye, you want to listen to those as well. So whatever the High Priestess is bringing to you as far as insights go, it's a gift. Even if it's something you don't want to see, like that person's misbehaving. I know that they're doing something and I need to talk to them about it. So trust the inner knowledge. If something's going on in your body and it doesn't feel right, talk to someone about that. Trust what you're receiving, and as long as you trust what you're receiving, it'll be a good day. It's a really good day for brainstorming, for creativity, for allowing things to just come together. So if you've had a hard time in the other part of the week sort of figuring it all out, this is the day where it magically comes together. What's interesting about it is the way that it organizes surprises you. So something surprising, but something positive, okay? You have a pretty good end of the week here with the 8 of Wands. With this 8 of Wands, I see you squarely in the middle of sort of busy opportunity, just a lot going on, but you're capable of doing this. You've done more before, and I think the main thing here is to keep your head on straight and to not get lost in the shuffle. This is a community card. There are other people around you. So, we have a lot of solitary figures in this sort of spread, but you're doing the work to bring resources and to bring support around you. So this card in particular, you can just look around and say, hey, what do you think? Or, hey, can I have some help with this? Or, whatever it is. Let's do this part next week. You have the capacity to communicate. This card can be too stuck in the doing. So make sure that, we'll be talking about her in just a second, that you speak up, because the leadership portion is what makes you stand out from the crowd. This is the crowd, and this is you, okay? One thing to notice with the 8 of Wands, it's a really great card when it comes to being able to create, maintain, and attract momentum. So across the board, it feels like it's a really good time for people that are in school, working, or just trying to get a lot done. I have no doubt that you have the capacity to do all of the aforementioned. The main thing for you is just being able to not feel like it's just sort of like you get lost in that. So take a step back, get the bird's eye view, and then move on, because it feels like there's, you've already kind of finished. There might be a little bit of stepping back, fixing, but the whole purpose of this week is to really get you into a new trajectory. Let's move on into the weekend as we look at next Saturday. So this is both your most empowering day and maybe a frustrating day for you as well. The Goddess of Wands or the Queen of Wands card is magical. She's a leadership energy. She can make things happen when and where they shouldn't, because she just has this ability to be charismatic and charming, and people will listen. When she's reversed, she can be stuck. She can think, this is the only way I can do it. There could be a Queen of Wands figure in your life that says no. And you're thinking, but how are you listening? So the Queen of Wands in reverse is saying, keep an open mind, try to help other people see things from a different perspective. Don't feel like you need to go and tell others what to do. Focus instead on what you can control, what you can manifest, because especially when it's combined with the High Priestess and the Magician, which it is in this particular spread, like the world's your oyster. So you start off right here and right now, Sunday, with this energy of anything's possible. You start to see things come into fruition on Thursday, and now you have a chance to take it to the next level, because these are all magic cards. So if you feel stuck, think that you're unstuck, and you will be unstuck. And that's what we see kind of coming through as we look at next Sunday. We have an Ace card in reverse, the Ace of Pentacles. So again, there could be a little disbelief. Am I doing this? Yes, you're doing this. Is something good enough for you should really be the question that you're looking at with this when you're kind of discerning between yes or no. So I think this entire next 7 days is really leading you to this question. Do I want to do this? Am I ready to receive this? Do I feel good enough for this? There's these inner sort of questions of readiness, preparedness. So if you're ready, if you're prepared, someone or something can enter your life a lot faster. The beginning of that starts to take place next Sunday. It may not be the person or the place, but it could be the phone call, the connection. You know, synchronicities, when we're looking at meeting people, they happen like dominoes. So what we're looking at next Sunday could be the first domino. It could be someone saying, hey, I heard about this whatever, seminar, this party, this appointment, this thing. And then you talk a little bit, you put that on your calendar, you go there, and it may not even be that. It could be the person that you meet on the way home from an Uber that then puts you in touch with someone else. It's that kind of domino that this ace could be. So it's opening up a meeting, a connection, and I'm being shown that it's one or two people down that chain. So if you think and say you're ready, the chain begins, the chain reaction begins. So why not imagine that it could happen sooner? It may not happen in the way that you thought or in the timing that you thought, but just say, I'm ready. Show me the highest possible frequency when it comes to how to approach this, what kind of person is going to come through, and help me stay positive throughout this so that I can discern between the same old, and what I'm really trying to bring about. That's what this whole week is about, and it's being colored by the choice of topic that everybody selected today. So one last quick review, and then we're going to go into the next portion. Today, set your mind to it and you can do it. The Magician is magical in that way. Monday, don't sell yourself short. Don't sell others short. Don't focus on the negative. Highlight the possibilities. That was really the sort of like Cliff's Notes way of saying what I was saying earlier. When it comes to people, especially those who haven't been encouraged, encourage them and encourage yourself. You'll start to see a lot of work done on Tuesday. It's a very productive day. I think you're finished. You finished something or you're ready to move on to something else. You may need to delegate a little bit midweek, but Wednesday's looking fantastic. Then you can start to see the fruits of your labor coming through, manifestations happening. Remembering the High Priestess reverse can also be disbelief. Disbelief then causes delays. You don't want that. So believe in yourself, believe in what you're seeing, allow yourself to be a channel that day. You can get back to work when it comes to Friday. It's going to be a very productive day. Try not to get lost in the shuffle. Stand up, speak out, show your true colors here, and it's going to kind of bubble into Saturday. Saturday's a great day for getting stuff done. You may be better at just focusing on doing your own thing. And then Sunday, there's a beginning, a chain reaction that begins here that opens up something else. So someone offers something or invites you to something, or you see an opening. I would say take that opening as long as it feels right. If it doesn't, state what you want. This can also be you saying to the universe, I'm ready for this. I'm ready to receive. Okay? So across the board, some pretty great cards. So we just looked at the channel messages and 7-day forecast. Let's move along to blessings and to blocks next. All right, so I'll choose a different deck for this portion. Let's see what's calling to me. I'm going to do the True Heart Intuitive for this portion. So blessings and blocks, what are they? Basically things to embrace and things that you might need to put a little bit of energy into transmuting or moving away from. So let's take a look and see what the cards want to show, and we'll go from there. Got a blessing here in disguise, and there's my beetle and a block as well. So I'll see if I can pull the picture up for the beetle in a few moments here when I'm allowing you to vote, but that's very close to what I also saw when I was hiking. All right, so let's look at your blessing. So you can't outfox the fox is what this card is showing you. So first we'll see the two little foxes in the corner. We see someone crossing their fingers here, saying something, but because you have the energy of High Priestess and Magician, you can see through the mirage. You can see through the illusion. So trust your intuition, trust your instincts, and if somebody's doing something and you can prove that it's not right or you know that it's not right, just kind of like acknowledge that, state that, and make sure that that person is held accountable, because accountability is the one way that you can dissolve the energy of the Seven of Swords. So let's frame this up in the form of a blessing. Someone or something reveals its true colors, and you are blessed to know that. It may not be what you expected. It may even be disappointing, but because you know it now, you can save yourself time, energy, and effort later. So it's good sometimes to see something, even when it's uncomfortable, even when it's not what you want, because you're going to be able to save your time, save your energy, and put it into something better, okay? So a revelation that says to you, not this. Knowing what you don't want is just as important as knowing what you want. So it's a blessing in disguise. Your block is what we were talking about with the Ten of Wands. Sometimes it can feel like it's too much. So we already kind of got the way to work around it here. Two different illustrations here. So we see the person in this particular Ten of Wands feeling like they're trapped, feeling like, how do I get out? How do I get to the next phase? We see this person saying, it's okay, I've got this. I can wrap my head around this. So when the Ten of Wands is reversed, the block can be pressure, peer pressure. It can be verbal abuse. It can be someone saying, like I said earlier, you're not good enough for this. You're a bad kid. You're a bad person. You're dumb. Those words that aren't good, they're not constructive. They're not helping. And so when someone presses down energetically on us, we have to rise up. That's why the elevator and the beetle were shown to me at the end. So you're going to push through. This beetle's pushing in all directions. You're going to push through and you're going to be the new you. Okay? Push back on nonsense, particularly when it's someone just spouting out and saying things that don't need to be said. Okay? So you get to see what you don't want, and you get to see a way out. And you get to show someone that you're nobody's fool. Let's put it that way. Okay? All right, so let's go ahead now and take a look and see what's coming next. We're going to now move along to the elemental forecast, where we look at fire, earth, air, and water. Let me see which deck of cards I'd like to use for this. Let's see what's calling to me that I haven't used in a while. We use one of the newer ones here. Okay, we'll use the Star Seeker for this one. All right, so for the elements, let me see. I think I have to move my cards up here a little bit because I'm running out of space. But I'm going to try to keep them here in case we need to look at them. All right, so we're going to pull one card for each, fire, earth, air, and water, and then we'll go from there. Let's see. I might do a different deck for this one. I'm going to use Light Seers for this one. Okay. So let's get started. We'll pull all the cards first, and we'll go from there. Fire, earth, air, and water. Got the Seven of Swords showing up there again, so that's interesting. All right, so let's break each one down. We are going to begin with all of my fire signs. So Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. For many of you, you are wrestling with a decision. I love Justice because it's a card of opportunity, and you get the choice in this sort of matter. Let's zoom in a little closer without the graphic for a second. So one thing that I really like about this one is that there is power in, as I said earlier, knowing what you don't want. So when we look at Justice reversed, she's arguably even stronger than the Justice upright because she's like, no, I've done this, or wait a second. So really understanding that it's okay to say no is a part of this one, and that there's always two sides to every story. So fire signs, I really want you to focus on getting the big picture, making sure that you have heard someone fully out, heard both sides of that story, and then make sure that you're also getting a chance to voice your concerns, to voice your opinions. Hold firm and strong to make sure that that happens before moving forward. If you're in a position of leadership or you're a mediator, you may have to try to control, or to not control, but sort of like inspire and manage some of the chaos that happens when people are frustrated. So how can you rise up and create that balance and that making sure that everything's equal? You may also be wrestling with, should I or should I not do something? When the scales of justice are perfectly even, almost, they are, yeah, like they are here, it can be very hard. It's sort of like a shade of gray that you might be looking at. I really like this, but this is also good. And you could permanently vacillate in that sort of questioning phase forever. I think what will help you on this is to go to what you really don't like. There has to be some things. This is why we do a list of pros and cons. So fire signs, put a list of pros and cons on a piece of paper about a big situation in your life and just really see what outweighs the other. And then just go into your heart and think, yes, no. You know, this gets in the way. This is your compass, okay? Do what's right, stand up for yourself, stand up for justice, make a decision. The sooner you do all of this, the better things get. You may also have an awesome air sign coming into your life, like in Libra, that can help out with some of this. Good time to litigate, good time to finish things, get the balance that you seek in your life, okay? Let's move on from fire and let's go to earth, Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. So for you, there's some interesting energy. People are playing a sort of center stage. You're kind of pulling back a little bit like a hermit, earth sign. So let's look at this card a little closer. So normally Three of Cups is a fantastic energy because it can mean that there's a celebration. It can show new love or friendship coming into your life. There's a sort of just a fun energy all around with this. When it gets reversed, however, there are new connotations and new things that we need to focus on. One is, I need time. You may be saying to yourself, I need time and space. I need some space from all of these people in my life. I think we've all been there sometimes. If it's just been a lot on your mind, if you've been dealing with a lot of work, you may just need to sort out your energy. So take a break. Take a sort of like breather if you need to. There could also be gossip going on around you. I talked earlier about how frustrating it can be to hear someone talk negatively about someone else, whether it's their partner, their friend, a child, one of your friends or whatever. So if that's happening, you want to stop the gossip or let the person know, no, I don't agree with it, and maybe this is even inappropriate. So stay away from clicks and gossip, because I guarantee you that's going to get back to the person that you're talking about. It's not worth it. So you want to pull yourself back from anybody that's acting up in that situation and instead be inclusive. One warning that comes with the Three of Cups in reverse is because of the domino effect that I told you, especially when we're looking at like a week from today. If you say no too often to too many people or too many opportunities, the doors start to stay shut, and then you're going to have to push them open. So I want you to occasionally say yes to some things. It's good to take care of you, but some of these yeses will open up more opportunities in your future, okay? So that's the balance. We still have a kind of energetic balance that's being sought in the Three of Cups, and this one is between you time, your own space, and others, because a lot of people are knocking on your door. A lot of people are interested in your time and energy. When we look at partnerships later, and when I do the main special topic, I'm really curious to see for the earth signs what might be going on, because this can be a third party. It doesn't have to be like someone cheating. It can be a parent getting in between you and your partner or best friend, even for that matter. It can also be you just questioning, like, am I ready for commitment? So questions around commitment, third parties, and also just sort of like being open to partnerships and saying yes to things. They're all coming through with this. So very interesting energy in the week ahead. The good news is, by and large, this is a very attractive energy. So if you're looking to pull something into your life, you can do it. All right. Let's move on to my air signs, Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. You got a great week. You have probably the easiest card of all the signs this week. We have the Six of Cups. The Six of Cups I love on so many different levels, but one of the reasons that it's great is that it gives you a chance to heal the inner child, something that I've had for weeks, but nobody wants to do. You know, the good news is part of what we're doing today is going to heal the inner child if there's any sort of energy from the past. I'll keep putting it on in different forms, but it's so important to do that. But anyway, you've done some of the work. Many of you have done the work. So what you can focus on this week is hanging out with some friends or some peers or some people in your life that really bring joy to you. It's a good time for focusing on family, for hanging out with your pet. It's a great time to meet someone special. The Six of Cups is one of the best partnership cards you can get because not only do you have the best friend energy coming through for it, but you also have a deep kinship. It's almost like a soul sister or soul brother energy, even if it ends up being a partner, like a lover. You probably have a past life together where you were family. So focus on the deep bonds in your life, the strongest energies. And if you don't have them, cultivate them. Say yes to some of the invitations that when we were looking at the earth signs that they didn't want to do. Do some of that stuff where you're saying, yes, I'm ready. Yes, I'm open to that. Because you are kind of in the middle of everything energetically this week, and that's good. It makes sense, especially for the Libras out there. You're very good at being sort of like life of a party. Gemini, you're great too. Anyone can talk to you about anything because you have a lot of sort of life experiences. And Aquarius, you're the advisor sort of in this sort of group, but people want to come to all of you this week. A lot of it is to talk. They want to be around your energy. But when it comes to work and other things, they're listening to you too. So this is your chance to be the star, to step into the spotlight. I hope you have some fun. I hope you do something with it. Across the board, it's really good energy. And there was really nothing critical that I could say about it other than there could be a lot of pressure that's coming from friends or family this week. So you just want to hold your own. And maybe you're just working on healing the inner child. But when there's good news, I say good news. So it looks like for the air signs, it's a good week for you. We don't have to always find something critical. All right, for the water signs, you have the Seven of Swords. And the good news, just to remind you of the blessing card, is you can't be outfoxed. We see the two little foxes out there. We see you seeing through it. And you're going to cut your losses. I talked earlier about the 5 and the 7 when I was doing the channel messages. And I said one thing that the 7 can be, yes, it can be sneaking away, but it can also be, you know what, enough. And just walking and getting on with things. Also, trust in karma. So for Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces out there, if somebody has wronged you, what goes around comes around. Everything comes to the light of day. We see a whistleblower here in the form of this raven or crow in the front. And it's basically going to make sure that whatever needs to be done is going to be done. You do not have to sort of like worry about being the scale of justice on this one. I think the main thing for you is to say, I see this, I don't like it, moving on, or you can't get away with this, but you can then just move on. There's better uses of your time and energy. Now let's talk about some positive things with this card in reverse. The positive things are, I know who I am and I know what I want. I know who that person is, and I know that maybe that's not what I want to spend my time and energy with. It's really just understanding what makes you happy and what you don't want to repeat. And if you can embrace that element of it, you're going to be fine. Be honest, be transparent when and if possible, and hold other people to the same sort of honesty and transparency, and you're going to have a great week ahead. Okay? So there you go. That, my friends, is the elemental forecast. The next thing that we're going to be looking at is the viewer's choice and reader's choice. This is a chance for us to look at some of the energies here to see like what we need to focus on. Because the 7 of Swords came up twice, I'm going to choose that for you so you don't have to worry about it. Let's look at some other things that you could look at for the week ahead that may be advantageous for me to explore. All right, let me grab my keyboard and we'll just take a look and see what's calling to me and hopefully what's calling to you. All right, so let me set up the poll here for you. If you're watching this on a, on a mobile device or also on a, computer, you should be fine. But if it's on some sort of a console, it may be difficult. All right, so viewers' choice. Let's see what's calling here. All right, so I'm going to choose the 7 for you just because it's coming through a couple of times. I think the other thing that I'm really curious about as I'm looking at all of this is trusting your intuition, because when I'm looking at the Magician card, the High Priestess, and the Queen of Wands, So I'm going to put it this way: working your magic, trusting intuition. I can't put all of it. Trust yourself. Trusting self. You'll know what I mean. Okay. So working your magic, trusting your intuition, trusting yourself. The other thing here is coming to a decision because of all of the sort of the justice card that I saw there for many of you. So arriving at a decision. Easier said than done, right? And then there was a lot of energy of ebbing and flowing with relationships here when we're looking at the Three of Cups and Six of Cups. So navigating, I mean, I think we're going to be looking at that in a moment, but I'm just going to say navigating social spheres. Let's put it that way so it's more specific. All right, so those are some options for you to vote on. I'll let you do that, and I'm going to focus on clearing up the desk here because it's a little busy. So give me a second. And then we're going to take a look at what's going on with the Seven of Swords. Basically clarifying it, especially for my water signs out there, because I want to give you a little bit more insight. All right, let me get all of this set up. How's everybody doing today? While I'm getting everything set up, I forgot to mention this. If you're enjoying what you're seeing, please hit the like and subscribe button. It helps this channel grow. It helps YouTube see this as a worthy piece for people to be recommended, so thank you. You can also follow me on social media if you like some reminders or want to see some pictures of my hikes or my dog, especially Instagram. You can follow me there. Thank you already to everybody that's given with super chats, super stickers, etc. As you see, I use many decks of cards and you help me purchase them by doing that, so thanks. All right, so enough being said here. Let's take a look now at why the Seven of Swords keeps coming up. Is there an overarching message that you need to be focusing on? Interesting. All right, so we have the Four of Swords coming through for you. The Four of Swords here in reverse. Some of you are so busy and possibly working yourself to such an extreme that you haven't had a chance to sort of like just take care of yourself and get off that hamster wheel and say, why am I doing this? The Seven of Swords is the straw that broke the camel's back in a good way. It's the person that has a conversation with you that really gets you upset and you think, I can't do this. I won't do this anymore. It's the thing that makes you just sort of say, enough is enough. And I think the most important thing that you can do before, during, and after this is to take care of yourself. Some of you are so far overdue for a vacation, a break, or some me time that the minute you do that, you can either completely let go of whatever happened with the Seven of Swords, or you can avoid it altogether. And that's why we come here every week, is how can I do better? How can I transmute it? Why do I have to go through that? You don't. Some of you are just tired, cranky, and you've worked so hard and so much in a certain path that you can't see that it's already done or that there's something that needs your attention. And once you get enough sleep, once you take a break, it's going to be all right. Okay? And it feels like some of you are just too busy too. So doing all of this will help you. So it's avoidable, particularly for my water signs out there. You don't have to go through all of that if you don't want to. Okay, let's take a look at the next thing here, which is what you've chosen for me. So let's see what's winning in the poll here. We have a nice winner here with working your magic and trusting yourself. So this was looking at all of the intuitive cards that I was picking up on, from the Magician to the High Priestess to even the Queen of Wands. Interesting. Okay, we're gonna do a past, present, future on this one because it's a deeper one. Okay, so we have Devil, Empress, and Ace of Swords. Let's pull each one of these cards upright. We'll start with your deep past. We have the Devil, which is coming through as a serpent. And kind of interesting that I chose a gecko or a lizard today for the totem. And I said one of the things that I liked about it, but also took me by surprise, was that it was there, sort of just sitting there, waiting, lying in wait, right? I'll pull a picture of it here so I don't have to go to my presentation. But when I was looking at that, I was like, interesting. Okay, so here we go. Here's what I featured, was that little gecko that was on the side of the street. But as you go further back, you can tell that if you're not paying attention, it could just totally blend in because it was the same color. Perfect camouflage, right? So for many of you, something, someone, it's kind of been deceptively there in the environment, blending in, and now it's not. And so I would say, whatever that is, this is an awakening to fix that first. And when you deal with whatever that is, it's kind of been sort of sitting there that needed your attention, then you can focus, because the only thing that ever takes the magician out of its power is when it's reversed and it's either overextending itself or focusing on the wrong thing. So deal with the fear, the anxiety, or the thing that's been there, the elephant in the room. Once you talk about the elephant in the room, it's gone, okay? This is also an empowerment card. So there could have been someone in your life that took your power away or made you feel like you weren't powerful. You could also be afraid of what you might connect to if you're tapping into your intuition. Do what we did at the beginning here. Light the candles that you see behind me and say, I'm focusing now on the highest energy in the universe of God, archangelic, or higher. Anything that, because even as humans, we may not even be seeing God for all that it can possibly be. So go to the highest energy in the universe, open yourself up, and then trust. So release the fear, trust in your ability, reclaim your power, and deal with anything that you haven't been looking at. Everything will start to come into focus then. For some of you, maternal energy is entering into here. So mom may not have been the supporter, grandma, dad even, because I try not to gender the cards too much. The other thing here is accountability. So sometimes when we know something, we have to do something about it. And so that's why some of you are like, I don't want to know, la la la, ignorance is bliss. Ignorance is just ignorance. It's kind of like the devil you know. I've talked about that. Ignorance is ignorance, and the devil you know is still a devil. So knowledge is strength. Knowledge is power. Knowledge is stronger than ignorance. And yes, knowledge requires movement and action, but you're going to be stronger for it. And that's what this is all about. It's going to open you up to cut yourself free of all those external sort of like connections, the conditional love, the cords that don't need to be there anymore. So you're going to find your voice by doing this. I think it's just fear of knowing for some of you. I don't just think it, I know it, because I'm thinking of people in my life that are afraid to talk about it with me. Like I have friends and family members that don't even talk to me about what I do. They're afraid of what I can see. What they don't realize is I'm not sitting there gazing into their soul when we're just having lunch or breakfast. That's not how it works. So, if there's something to hide, I'm going to see it just naturally, but I'm not going to sit there and invade someone's mind. That's not good protocol. And it's not going to work that way for you either. So you'll see what you need to see. And when you see it, it's a blessing. What you're being given the opportunity to do right now is to take charge, take ownership, take power over something. And you may, those of you that are writers, composers, artists, or engineers, be getting sort of like this download that you need to do something with. Okay? All right. That's the answer that I got to that question. Let me make sure like how it was phrased. That's how it came through. So yeah, working your magic and trusting yourself. Yeah, just trust yourself. Don't be afraid of what you're going to see. You're the one that's pulling the strings, not someone else. That's actually another way to look at this. Let's put all the cards upright. In this one, there's a fear that someone or something else is pulling the strings, but in reality, it's always been you. It always will be you. And that's what we see here, someone cutting through the nonsense and saying, I own this, I see this, I'm ready. All right? All right. We're going to get ready now for the special topic portion of this reading. Let me know. You can put some stuff in comments real quick if there's a particular deck that you want me to use. I'm going to select 4 and then have you vote on it. I've been highlighting a few. I think I'll pull Aphrodite as one to be considered, even though we used it. I think that also this is a somewhat newer one. I'll do Star Seeker, and then I'm going to keep an eye and see if there's anything else here that I haven't used in a while that might be worth pulling in. I know that you have favorites, I have favorites. I try to shuffle them up from time to time. So let's see what's calling to me. All right, so I'm just going to show you my thought process as we're looking at the decks here. These are some that are coming to mind. Let's see. So we have Aphrodite. We have the Star Seeker one, which I kind of do like. Let's see here. So you're saying something you've never seen. I can pull one. Let me just, it's been a while. I'll go to my side here and see if there's something that you haven't seen. I have an Arthurian one, Glastonbury, I think, that you probably haven't seen. I have Arcus Arcanum, which is an out-of-print deck, which you probably haven't seen. And I have other ones, but I don't want to pull out all these cards. I think we got enough on the table. So let's see here. Looking to see. All right. Nobody cares. Okay, so I'm going to put Aphrodite. I'm going to put this one. We'll pull the Arthurian one here as well. And let's see. This one's out of print. It's kind of cool, maybe. Green Witch was one that got chosen this past week, so maybe I'll do that instead. Okay. I may start a different poll on the weekends to ask you guys to suggest some things. All right, just so I can kind of move it a little bit. All right, so these are the 4 that I'm going to choose between for you today, I believe. Okay, so let's give this a second. Now I'm going to put it as a poll here, so give me a second, and you can vote. So we have Afro Goddess, we have the Star Seeker, we have the, I say it's Arthurian, but it's called like Glastonbury, I think, but I'm going to put Arthurian because it's easier, and it's more descriptive, and then we have the Green Witch. Okay, so those are the ones because we need to get the show on the road. Let me show you what they look like up front so that you can see what you're voting on. You know the Afro Goddess, we've used it a lot. There it is. I haven't used it for a few weeks except for the beginning portion today. Here's Star Seeker. Kind of has a cool illustrated but somewhat muted palette. I like it a lot. This one is the sort of based on the Arthurian legends. It's kind of a rare deck that I don't use that often. So this one's cool too. Okay. And then we have the Green Witch deck, which I just used the other day, which people seem to like. And I haven't used this one in a while. Just some nice sort of earthy energy. So you guys get to choose. Let's see what's in the lead. We have the Arthurian one with about 40%. I think it's going to be hard to beat that one, so I think we can end the poll. All right, so I'm going to end the poll now, and let's get started. All right, so we're going to begin now the special topic portion and take a look at how to do the inner work necessary to really bring about the highest possible frequency relationships. Now, the good news is, if you're in a relationship, this is still going to help you flourish in that existing relationship. And if you're seeking a partnership that's not love, this would still be a part of that as well. All right? So let's go ahead and get everything laid out. Thanks for choosing something different, and I'm sure you're saying the same thing to me, so I'm happy to comply here. I'll make sure that in the future I'll pull like at least one rare one, because this one's hard to purchase. I don't think it's available readily, and that other one that I got, I had to buy used. This one was used as well. There's a couple that never used, but like I had to buy it from a collector. So I have a few that are from collectors, and I'll pull those out. The colors on this one are really nice. They're very bold, and the imagery is really cool too. And then you'll see people like Guinevere and Merlin and all of that. Lots of wands. Not surprised, since I was picking up on that with the the gecko and the lizard earlier. Good choice, everyone. I like the colors. That's why I like to let you vote on stuff. For next weekend's collective, I may do a choice of rare decks, and I'll make sure that I use at least one of them in each portion. So, all right. By the way, I'm doing something special. Little programming note. Middle of this week on Thursday, since we have an extra day this month, and I don't like to kick off the new month without having it would make no sense to be doing the following month like 2 months ahead. So we're doing a bonus reading on Thursday. So it will be different. The format will be different. It'll be somewhere between a collective and an impromptu. There'll be more planning, but the format will be whatever I feel is necessary, but I will organize it and I will announce it. I may have a vote on some of the stuff that we can look at. So keep an eye on my community page. I'll post a placeholder for it by tomorrow, and then I'll put some more information on my page on Monday, Tuesday of this week after I do the Pisces reading. Okay, let's look at this. Again, if you just joined, we're now in the special topic portion. The special topic that you chose today is focusing on how to do the inner work necessary to attract a higher frequency partnership. That's the wordiest one that I've ever done. I almost ran out of, I think I had to kind of truncate things a bit in the title, but that's my version of how to bring in love, partnership, and opportunities, because it starts within. And also how you can transmute them around you, because as you change, people around you change as well. All right, let's begin with your catalyst card. So it seems very fitting that we talked about wands at the beginning, and then also they came through predominantly as the major suit for you today, because the Queen of Wands flourishes in the desert, right? If we take a look at the Afro Goddess Queen here, you can see all these sunflowers growing. We can see the magical cat there saying, I know how to do this. I'm going to take people by surprise. I have 9 lives. Look at me. I'm gonna do this. I'm surprising people. So just like a cactus growing in the desert, you can flourish when other people and other things can't. By the way, if you're not following me on Instagram, you should. I have this new cactus that is just gorgeous. It's called a Rabutia and Nervosensa, I believe. But here's an example of how something in the middle of the desert can just be amazing, right? So I like cacti and succulents and epiphytic flowers like orchids, because they just grow in places where other things couldn't or shouldn't. So what we see here is that movement and that growth. So you're actually coming out like a cactus, like that Queen of Wands, like the sunflower, which magically is appearing in the desert when it shouldn't. And I think that this is the cool thing for you. You have this moment to show people, maybe I didn't show up the way that I should have before. Maybe I've been a little bit sleepy. Maybe I haven't done all that I can, but I'm ready now. This is my moment to shine. So part of the inner work is the belief that everything in the past is just in the past. Whether it was great success or great failure, it built the foundation of who you are today. It made you stronger. It gave you perspective. Now you're going to rise up and you're going to flourish, and you're going to find your inner Queen of Wands, and you're going to make it work. And doing so, especially after a period of nothingness, like a kind of like a plateau, a desert of opportunity or desert of movement, it's all the more sort of impressive. And why is that important? Because when you enter into a new partnership, if you feel like, wow, I made this amazing discovery, this amazing stride, I pushed through a period where I didn't think I had it and I found it. When you find a partner, they're going to be seeing someone who is excited and energized and in their power. So the first thing to do is to realize that the absence of something doesn't mean that it's not there at all. The absence of a relationship doesn't mean that you're never going to be in a relationship. It's so that you can see and find and know yourself. And that's the desert for many of you. When will I find someone? When is it going to happen? Why am I waiting so long? Why is everyone else married? All of that stuff gets into your head, and you know what happens? It becomes not a question, but a statement And the same sort of thing for someone else. They're like, why isn't that person married? Why aren't they with someone else? Why do I want to be with them? So what you want to do instead is say, I'm ready to grow. I'm growing. I'm fine. I'm more than enough for myself. The desert is fine. There's life everywhere in the desert. Living in the Southwest, that's why I kind of love desert flora and fauna, because you have to become friendly with it. It's part of it. And you see that if you just get up early in the morning or go out late at night or look down on the ground, there are things moving. It's alive. So your life and your energy is moving. The desert's very much alive. It's just deceptively quiet, and it's sort of not the way you expect it. So keep an open mind. Things are different. The way that something comes into your life could be radically modified from what you expect. A cactus spine is just a leaf, a modified leaf. The cactus itself is just a stem, but it doesn't look like it, does it? So things may just change based on their own life experiences as well. So just be open to that. We have the Six of Swords at the center. Movement, moving on, letting go. So the first thing for some of you is letting go of the past. Typically in this deck, we would see a person in the boat, a person steering the boat, sometimes a ghost of someone in the back here. So what we see here is someone that is squarely in the middle of change and that sort of movement energy. I like that this Six of Swords has the caption perception at the bottom. So ends can be beginnings if you see them as beginnings. A pause can be an integration period if you see it as that. The absence of something can be the opening for something new to come in. So you're moving. Do you see that you're moving? Because this card is not stationary at all. Six of Swords is always moving. So hidden movement would be the first thing that I see here, and then releasing something that you're holding on to. Could be a vendetta, a grudge, could be a person, could be sadness or grief because of someone leaving. It could be disappointment that something didn't happen the way you wanted, though I would normally associate that with the Three of Swords. Six of Swords is holding on to something for a moment, but then needing to move on, okay? Now we have the Empress here, Guinevere, on top of all of this. So with the Empress energy here, you have the power and the capacity to create. You also have this sort of, if you see yourself as the magnet, like a king or a queen would, let things come to you too. You don't have to constantly be chasing down all of the dreams, all the expectations, all of the yeses to, like trying to get someone to say yes to something. Trust that if it's right, if it's meant to be, it will come to you. See your divinity, see your power, because to an extent, not, like I said, there's a difference between being a leader and just being bossy. But if you're truly someone that's strong and truly someone that's confident, that's a sexy trait. That's a powerful, attractive trait, because other people will think, gosh, it's really easy to be around that person. They know how to do this. They make me feel at ease. I don't feel like we're constantly questioning what's next. So a certain sense of confidence and leadership will also help you pull in that high frequency relationship that you're looking for. There should also be a balance that's going on here. So if there's someone in your life that walked away because you were too strong, that wasn't the high frequency relationship you were seeking. You should be able to be yourself and hold your sort of ground, stand your ground, and whoever's going to stay is the one that's really going to be there in the long run, okay? Deep past, 10 of Cups in reverse. Who cares what your family and friends think? That's what this card is saying on some levels. The 10 of Cups, it's the people around us that love us and know us the best, but sometimes they forget the bottom piece, which is happiness. Your happiness is your happiness, and how you define it is going to be singular and unique to yourself. We kind of see her at the altar of her own soul here. So for some of us, that happiness is alone. That happiness is saying, I'm cool with what I'm doing. I don't need anyone or anything else. But when we're looking in the frame of partnerships, I would say standing in that and saying that I am complete in and of myself. I'm not looking for someone else. I'm not depressed. That's fine. Your family may need to hear that, but they may constantly push anyway. Friends may constantly judge. You may feel the need to compare yourself to others. The comparison and the complaining and the pressure, it's not solving anything. It's just exacerbating what isn't. It's focusing on a lack. So I hope you're seeing something here. Stop focusing on a lack of, because if we look at the two center cards, This is moving towards something. The Six of Swords is movement. This is empowerment and fulfillment. And this is saying, I don't need someone else to feel that. I've got it. When you don't need someone else to feel it, then guess what? You actually pull it in. So the main thing for you is to feel like I'm enough, I'm solid, I can do this. I don't care what mom thinks. I don't care what my boss thinks. I don't care what my friend thinks. I don't care about pressure from society to conform to predetermined norms. I don't care. I care more about, am I happy, am I fulfilled? Be discerning, be picky, and trust in yourself, okay? Now we've got the Queen of Swords. Good to have a different suit coming through here. Speak your mind. Stand your ground. I love that she has the two different dramatic faces on either side of her. See, there's a little mask there, and there's another mask on either side. She's basically, in my own mind, it feels like she's just kind of cut through the sort of strings that hold them together. And it's like, we don't have to go to that extreme. We don't have to go to that extreme. I know who I am. I know what I want. She's also kind of like justice as well. You can see this as a connection to that justice card that we looked at earlier. So say what you need to say, hold your ground, and cut through the nonsense of the dramatics. There's a time and a place for it, but that's not necessarily this moment in time. If you can articulate your emotions rather than just emote them, just kind of like embody them, if you can say, I really loved it when you did this, or this really frustrates me, or I need to understand your perspective, what made you say that? When you can articulate and get through the dramatic part of it, then you can truly get to the solution. And hold space and listen. Say, I want to hear it. I'll hear you out. And then say, I have some questions. I heard this, but what about this? And so really be strong and really use your communication skills rather than just the tone of voice. We've all been there, myself included. Sometimes when you're angry, you just yell or you just cry or you just whatever. You clam up a little bit sometimes. Or kind of just showing it. It's not always like that. Sometimes it's a roll of the eyes. Sometimes it's a shake of the finger, wag of the finger. So rather than doing all of that, use your words. Using your words in an articulate and a premeditated and a good premeditation. Like, I know what I need to do. I know how I'm going to do it. I'm going to try to do this. I'm going to practice this so I can put my best foot forward and my best, I guess, my best words forward as well. Okay? I think that's going to be so key. Look back on your life and see where you wish you could have just waited a second, or you could have asked for more information, or you could have figured out what you wanted to say before you said it. If it just comes out, it's not always perfectly articulate. So I think in this moment, you really want to sort it out, because this could be the difference between a yes and a no, between someone agreeing with you, between you being able to rectify a situation and someone walking away. I like your crowning card quite a bit. We have the Six of Cups. It's coming up a lot. I believe it came up for my air signs. But we see here union and maybe even a reunion for some of you. So everything that I talked about before with the Six of Cups holds true here. This is the kind of thing you want to meditate on for high frequency. As I said, like a high frequency relationship, this can be past life. It can be like brother, sister, familial energy. It can be sort of that really strong bond that we have with somebody. And it's the kind, I hope many of you have had this opportunity, but when you've met someone, you think to yourself, that person's amazing. I want to either learn with them. Maybe it's like a mentor and you're going to sign up for a class or spend some more time and energy around them just to kind of like absorb something. I could be a personality on TV, maybe like a certain, performer or, someone that does a podcast or a talk show, and you just like the way that they analyze things. For those of you that grew up in the 90s, maybe it was like Oprah. Remember, you could just come home from school or work and she was sitting there kind of maternally working through things. So it could be someone like that. Or when you meet someone for the first time, if you're lucky enough to know, like, this is going to be something, I don't want to mess this up. So you're holding out for that connection where it feels like it's a deep soul connection, not just this person's attractive, not just that they're intelligent, but like I vibe with them. And whether we're best friends or lovers, this is going to be something special. So put that out to the universe. Say, I'm ready for a deeper and higher love. Not just, I'm ready for love. Send me somebody. Say, I'm ready for a deep, substantial, partnership where I'm not looking for a teacher, I'm not looking for lessons, I don't need baggage, I'm looking for higher love. That's what you want to intend on if you're looking for a relationship, and if you're looking for a partnership like business, or if you're looking to transmute your current one. I would say for business, say looking for the highest possible partnership, someone that truly gets my drift. If you're looking to elevate your current partnership, think to yourself, I am your soul brother, sister, etc. And like, let's truly see each other as brother and sister, not just lover, not just partner. Like, let's treat each other like the family that we are. And if we can't do that, then the love, then the sex, then the other stuff, it's not going to be enough to sustain it. So go to the deeper core connection. If that best friend energy isn't there, sister brother energy isn't there, then everything else that's going to build on it, it's not going to be there either. Okay? So again, I'm using partnership with a capital P, so if things blur a little bit, it's okay. It could be your friend, it could be your family, it could be your lover, but what we're looking at here is how to bring it to the highest possible spectrum. Okay? Let's look at the next card here. We have the Three of Wands. It's already happening. I like that we actually are highlighting the word honesty on this one. So being honest with yourself, being honest with someone else helps attract that same sort of energy. So everything that we're looking at today is how can I bring in something higher? So honesty is definitely a great way to do that. What's interesting on this one is this person's not kind of looking at where something's at. I'm always intrigued by Three of Wands illustrations because sometimes you'll see someone at the top of the hill looking at the ships coming in. Sometimes they'll be on the dock. Sometimes they're looking in an opposite direction. In this one, it feels like it's almost like you've moved beyond a certain point. Not only is something happening, but you're moving on to the next thing because that wand is in the background. So a couple of notes that I would say for you as you're looking at partnerships and opportunities. How much of your time and energy do you have to lend to a partnership? Is there unfinished business that you need to sort out? And are you also looking everywhere? Because I feel like this person is just sort of like madly moving in one direction without taking a second glance. Oh, I missed that. Oh, that person might be interested. There's like a Four of Cups opportunity that's being handed, but they have to be awake and aware and receptive to that. So whatever you're looking for, it's already manifesting because the position of this is near future. And that tells me that it's underway because Three of Wands means it's happening, and near future would tell me in the near future. It's already happening. You just have to look around. Are you being honest with yourself? Are you being honest with someone else? If someone's honest with you, does the honesty sort of disarm you? Something about transparency and truth is going to play a very big role as well. Okay, let's take a look at your soul energy, how you're coming through here. Well, we've got the Ace of Wands, which I love. And this is actually how you spell the name of the deck, Glastonbury, I think it is. So it's not just Arthurian, but that's the name of it. It's named after a place in England, I believe. Okay, so Ace of Staffs. So for this particular energy of yourself, this is about saying, first of all, I know who I am. I like doing this because it brings me a sense of empowerment, excitement, passion, etc., and really leaning into that. You should feel passionate. You should feel excited. You should feel like this is worth your time and energy. Wands is all of that. And doing that work in your life, like working your passion, if you can do that, you're rich beyond compare. It doesn't matter what your actual wage is. And you've already kind of got something that really makes you full, like your life is full. So one thing that I would look at is how are you occupying your mind and your time? Does it make you feel better, or does it make you feel less than? Is there anything that you could do to make things feel more satisfactory for you? That's where the focus should be with the Ace of Wands. The other thing is, when you meet somebody, it may be a choice between just being friends or it's just love. You're lucky if you can get the two together, but the Ace of Wands is saying, pay attention. If it looks good on paper and you have a deep friendship, but you don't have the love, maybe that's enough. Maybe that's all this person was supposed to be in this life. Don't force something that isn't there. Be honest with the other partner. If you for some reason can pretend, and they think that you're into them, but you're not, don't do that. Be honest with yourself, be honest with someone else. And that's basically what this card is about, because we just saw the honesty, because if this isn't good enough, something even better will come along. The universe is kind of sending a test there, okay? Looking in the environment, we have the Maid of Staves here, or the Maid of Wands. The Maid in this deck would be the Page. And so what we're seeing with this is the receipt of energy. So here was the energy that you're putting out into the world. This is how you're receiving and how you're listening to it. What's going on for some of you is that you could be caught in the middle. I'm looking at this and it kind of reminds me of, I forget what it's called, but there's that sort of sport like where people will use the flags to kind of like get your attention. I feel like someone's trying to get your attention. They're trying to flag you down a little bit. They're trying to, hey, over here. You may also be playing that role where you're trying to, like, many of you may have remembered this, but like back in school, maybe this is something that just happens in the United States, but it's crazy. There's kids sometimes will be like, they want to kind of like raise their hands, me. They want to be chosen. And not only is it doing them a disservice, but it's also not letting other people do it. And kind of the teacher is annoyed. So there's a time and a place and then there's a time and a place to just see if anyone shows up and say, if no one else has something to say, I have something to add. Or yeah, actually I can, but give people a chance. So I would say one thing is if you're constantly trying to always speak first, always try to act first, how will you know what other people think and want and have to offer? So be receptive is what I'm going to say here. Be receptive and listen. Use a little of the Gecko energy and just blend in for a second and observe and think, do I even want to be a part of this? Do I even want to add my thoughts to this? So observe, integrate, then speak up. You can speak up first sometimes, but not all of the time. And if someone else is doing that, you need to talk to them or talk to the facilitator or talk to someone else. There needs to be turns that are taken when it comes to attention and holding the floor. That's really what I'm talking about. Because teachers usually stop this. If one student is constantly holding the floor, they can't let other people, like, you don't know where the deficiencies are. You don't know if things are not being understood. I got it. You understand. Who else understands? Does anyone have any questions? Is this truly something we're all in agreement with? So it's also a warning to go against groupthink in a company, for instance, where there's someone that just wants everyone to, this is right? Everyone agrees, right? There's sometimes the loudest person that talks is put into a leadership position, but they shouldn't always be. So what I'm seeing here is giving everyone a shot, making sure that there isn't someone that's too pushy, too talkative, or too desperate or needy to kind of like put that energy out there. So taking a step back. Isn't it weird though, when you see someone who's truly feeling confident, capable, etc., they don't need to overcompensate in all of these areas. So people know if you have your stuff together. All right, so you'll be all right. Patience, space, quiet, and equity is really what needs to show up in the environment. And if it isn't showing up in your environment, in your home, at work, at school, in your family, you need to find a way to bring about that equilibrium, okay? We have the Seven of Wands in hopes, fears, and opportunities. So many wands coming through for you guys today. All right, so the Seven of Wands has a lot of different potential meanings. One of them, and one of the best interpretations of the Seven of Wands, is you can handle so much that people are going to just keep throwing things your way and you're going to excel at that. You may actually have more suitors, more opportunities, more jobs, more money, all this stuff knocking than you can actually answer, like all these sort of possibilities. And typically with the Seven of Wands, we see someone kind of pushing back a little bit, saying, okay, wait a second. And what needs to happen with the Seven of Wands is some discernment. No, I can't do that. Or, hey, I got a lot going on here. Could you do this? Because if we subtract one from this, we get success. We get the Six of Wands. If we add one, if we bring someone on to assist as well, we get Eight of Wands, which is more sustainable. Then you're in the flow, then you're in the mix. So you either need to bring on more time, you need to add time, add resources, or add money to the situation, or you need to get rid of something and delegate. That'll make you more successful, or it will make it move faster. So It's either less is more or more is more, but what you're doing isn't the most efficient. So a better use of time and energy management, that's the most important thing. Look at it, be discerning, and think, I either need a little bit more or a little bit less, but I'm working too hard and maybe not smart enough. If there's anyone in your life that's pushing too much onto you, or you're incapable of delegating, that's where the big growth opportunity comes. Don't succumb to fear or peer pressure with the Seven of Wands. It's a pushy card. So you have that same defensive stance here. This particular deck chose to highlight the thought of courage, which I like too. Be willing to stand up for yourself, okay? The outcome card in this spread is a really cool one here. We have fantasy with the Seven of Cups, which I normally wouldn't. I see it as a daydreaming card sometimes, the Seven of Cups, but I wouldn't always see it as fantasy. But let's take it in all these different levels and talk about it. The first question from the universe, whenever I see this in a relationship spread, which is really what we're looking at, what are you looking for? What do you want? Also, who are you? If you were to meet someone and give like an elevator pitch, what would your one-line bio be? Like people put on Twitter or Instagram or LinkedIn or any of that stuff. What would it sort of be? You know, sometimes people will be like, mom, dog owner, poet, cook, you know, chef, whatever. What are you in a few words, but also what are you trying to do on this planet? I try to put this out there whenever I get a chance to, so we can all be more effective. But we live many lives. We live this once. What is your goal in a few words? Think about it. For everybody, it could be different. For some people, it could be, I want to inspire people. It could also be, I want to find an inner strength and show people that it can be done. So maybe it's more like self-discovery and things of that nature. Whatever it is, own your path and your passion, and then make sure that as you enter into new things, whether it's a partnership or a job or an experience, that somehow it's blending with that, if not enhancing it. And that's what I see when I see the Seven of Cups. Daydream, discover, decide. Fantasy is important. What's your dream? The daydream portion I definitely get with this. And so I would call it dream, not fantasy. But potato, potato, it's kind of the same. The thing that I don't like about fantasy is it seems like it's so far out there that it can't happen. Dream, to me, a dream is it's something you can accomplish. It's showing you something. In a relationship, you should be able to talk about your hopes, your dreams, your fantasies, your fears, and that's what this is saying. So go for that highest possible fantasy or dream or aspiration and make a decision. You can't sit forever in the Seven of Cups, though. The Seven of Cups can be a little bit indecisive. It can even lead to sort of being a little flaky sometimes. So you want to reach, go for it, and then do something with it. There's a reason that we couple research and development. Research is the daydreaming part. Let's look around. Let's try something. Then the development piece is to take that, one of those Ace of Cups floating in the air, and make it an Ace of Pentacles and plant it in the ground. So take it and then do something with it. If you don't know who you are, other people will be coming through to test you. If you don't know what you want, you're going to get a buffet. And if you've gone to a buffet, there's some bad things at the buffet sometimes. So it's better for you to know who you are and what you want, and then the universe is going to kind of align you to a better match in any regard: friend, work, business, etc. Let's expand this very special topic to look at health, wealth, love, and destiny. Each one of these is multi-part. I'm going to pour some more water while I'm doing this, but each one of these is multi-part. When I look at health, it's going to be mind, body, and spirit. So this is a really important piece because as we start to look at mind, body, and spirit, this is going to be what sustains you. Because if on a soul and a body level, you're not where you need to be, it doesn't matter how much work you put into a relationship or how well aligned you are to be with somebody, it's going to fall short because the foundation's missing. The health card for you is very interesting here. So we see someone that I feel like they're trying to, there's two things. It's almost like they're trying to listen, but they're also trying to like escape from a situation, to move or to push through it. So I think of like, I told someone that like my last day of work before I kind of embarked on this current thing felt like Shawshank Redemption. If you've ever seen that, there's a scene at the end where he's kind of like coming out in the water and the mud, and it's like this baptism moment. But my last day at work, it was raining, and like there was this really sad little, some people got some cupcakes. I was sitting outside, it was raining. I'm like, I'm just ready to go. And I was so happy that it was raining, and I was ready to just sort of move on to the next step of my life. I actually had a yoga teacher training that evening, and it just felt like a really nice gateway, going from the old, meditating, opening up a new path, and the baptism of the water, also just sort of like being able to wash off the funkiness of where I had been. And it felt to me like I wanted to, if I could have run toward the future, that's what I wanted to do. I wasn't running away from the past. I was running towards the bright sun of the future. So listen to the inner calling. We see him or her kind of doing this, and run toward the opportunity. There's a difference between the two, running away from a problem or running toward a solution. So I feel like make sure that you are resolving karma. I left with clean slate, nothing to worry about, but I was like, I can't wait for tomorrow. I can't wait to wake up and not have to do this anymore. So wake up now in this moment and start moving, start the momentum. Remember back in the channel messages, we had the Knight of Wands, right? And so the Knight of Wands was about, I didn't have everything figured out, but I knew enough. And I'm like, I'll figure it out as I go along. Now is the time. So if now is the time to make a pivotal change, make the pivotal change, run toward the future, okay? Let's see if there's any other messages with respect to that. All right, so when we're looking at your general health, listen to yourself as well, because that's what we're seeing here, is listening to your body. Let's see here, health. All right, so for some of you, moving away from a situation is going to be really key. So there may also have been a loss that you've experienced, and that's part of what you're moving through. But movement, definitely a key piece to this. I can see it here coming through. How you're dealing with everything. Everyone deals with stress differently, but the 10 of Cups in reverse can just be a lot. And so for some of you, you may need some support. This can just be a best friend. It doesn't have to be a therapist. But support and a way to sort of like let go of the emotional stress, that's coming through as well. Focusing on the positive. This is what, like I said, when I saw someone the other day talking about a family member and not using kind terms, especially if it's someone young. Look at the possibilities and focus on the possibilities so that you can really move into how to bring in something better. So think higher, act higher, and you'll attract higher in your life. The important thing for you is to move out of a situation that may constitute the stress in your life or maybe even compound the stress in your life. Everything is looking really good for you when it comes to health, generally speaking. You might have a hard time focusing. A relationship, ironically, could take you out of focusing on what's going on. Or you may be sort of like thinking too much and dreaming too much about that other person or what you're trying to do. The good news for you, though, is if you don't push it, things should just start to happen. Things should start to align. I didn't really get any negative cards here for you with respect to your health. All I can say with this is emotional sensitivity, and for some of you, maybe even going to extremes or trying to self-medicate in any way, shape, or form, that could be something to pay attention to. But you're looking pretty good. And I think as long as you're moving towards something positive, something better, you're going to manifest that, okay? Let's move on to wealth. Wealth is your money. It's your life experience. It's your opportunity. And we have the spider here, which invariably I connect with the Wheel of Fortune. Many decks have this in the Wheel of Fortune. If I were to use the Wild Unknown, which is what this Oracle deck is associated with, it would also have, like in the Eight of Pentacles, I think it's a spider web. And then I believe in the new one that I was going to use here, the Star Seeker, the it's either 10 of Pentacles, Wheel of Fortune, 8 of Pentacles. We see spiders with that. Because why? It's an attractive force. So you're not stuck. You are the one that kind of puts the sticky energy out there instead. So the spider can weave its own web, create its own future. And there really is no wrong or right way of looking at this card. A spider web upside down doesn't matter to the spider. It's all perspective. So I think for you, focusing on regaining perspective, clipping out the things that you don't need in your life and saying, this is what I want, and kind of beckoning to the universe, bring it in. That's what the spider's doing. It sets the web knowing that something will just fly through it. It has faith. It waits. It's patient. And it gets its meal. It also takes a look at where it, it's going to also put this near a flower or something like that, so that pollinators and bugs are going to naturally pass this. So you want to be paying attention to your attractive thoughts, not just for a person, but for opportunities in your life. And then also pay attention to the timing and the placement. So if you're living in Antarctica or living in an isolated desert space where nobody sees you and you don't interact with anybody, it's going to be a lot harder for this to happen. So find ways to interact virtually, for instance. We talked about geography not being a big deal because I talked about the desert card. But there are things that you can do that will either open up or close it down. So if you don't have the geographical advantage, then use technology to your advantage. Put the web out there. Literally, we call it the World Wide Web, right? So use the internet to your advantage for marketing, for outreach, for dating, for whatever it is, okay? So there you go. You get to attract what you're looking for, and you're more in control than you think you are. All right, let's take a look at some specific messages about wealth, life purpose, resources, and how they align to creating a higher frequency or attracting a higher frequency partnership. All right, choosing happiness is important. I choose to be happy. That should be one of your mantras. The other thing here should be, some of you might finally just be ready to share your life experience or your understanding. So writing a curriculum, being a public speaker, being a teacher, somehow conveying messages is an attractive force because people get to know you. What I'm doing here, just talking to other people, it's a great way to let people know who you are. So show them, and it can either be through words, through pictures, through something that you make, something that you do. But this is taking action based on your thoughts. Don't force it. Look around because what you're seeking is possibly already there. We see this in your headspace. We see this right behind you. So take a look. You might have missed something. When it comes to a job, when it comes to an opportunity, when it comes to a friendship. Be specific. So for those of you that are interviewing, for instance, and the interviewer does it, like they ask you, where do you see yourself in 5 years? And if you just say working, that's not a good answer. If a good answer would be hopefully here, but you could be more specific. You could say, part of the reason I was attracted to this company was because of the areas that you're growing in. You're investing here, you're investing here. I also see that you tend to support an upward mobility with all of your, all the people that work here. So I'm really interested in not only growing in my capacity as XYZ, but also seeing where this company's headed. So I feel like we can both grow together. So hopefully I'm here, but I'd also like to see changes within the company here, and I'd like to be a part of that. Go a little more specific. Obviously you don't want to get crazy, but like show that you've done your homework, and the more specific you are in what you're looking for in work, in love, and in life, the more the cosmos can start to work to create it for you. Okay? I like what I see here also in the crowning position with the Six of Cups. So you could find your next good thing, whether we're looking at health and it's a doctor recommendation or job, through your network, the spider web, through your sort of through your sixth sense as well. You probably know who to go to and who has a really great connection. Oh yeah, that person knows this person. I'll give them a call. The one thing that I would say is try not to make it too obvious. I have some people that reach out to me, and the only time they reach out is when they want something. So one thing that you want to work on is making sure that you're not just using your connections. You're also building a good relationship, giving to them, listening to them. And then when and if you need something, you can call, and that's not just, for a favor, it's just reciprocity. So work on reciprocity, one little footnote that I would put on that card. All right, things are looking pretty good. One last thing here with the spider card. Careful about gossip. As I talked about, you could get caught up in someone else's web. Also, if you feel stuck, then reach higher or let people know what you're looking for, because there is a chance for them to be able to bring that in to your life. And we hear little Apollo in the background barking in his sleep. So sometimes you have to use your voice. You have to speak up as well. All right, let's move on now to the relationship card. Got a lot of fish coming through. There may be a Pisces for some of you, or a water sign coming in, but we have the koi fish spirit. And I really like what it says here. It says there's always enough. So one thing that's cool about koi fish, they can live for quite a while. So if you're looking for this next connection, to me, there's a strength and a long-lasting sort of energy that come through with the koi fish that I like. So this next thing in your life, work, friendship, or relationship, has a chance to really go the long haul. So I like that. We're going to look at this portion from a few different angles, and this is why I was saying earlier, don't worry, because I always kind of look at relationships through this lens. We're going to look at it for those of you looking for love, trying to call in the higher partnership, those of you in a partnership and trying to transmute it, or maybe trying to find a different kind of higher partnership, and those that are happy and just curious, like what's going on with partnerships around them. All right, so let's go to the center and let's remind you of the first card here. This is possibly the most important, because what the catalyst does is it helps us stay on path. So we see someone reaching up and reaching out. We also see someone reaching here. Never stop reaching, never stop dreaming, never stop sort of communicating what it is that you want. So in current relationships, if there hasn't been action, you take the action. You're the sort of oasis in the desert. The good news in existing relationships is we have the Six of Cups in the crowning position. We also have the 10 of Cups in the deep past, but what happens sometimes when this is reversed is there could have been some peer or family pressure to get married, to call this something. Sometimes friends will say like, well, are you dating? Are you serious? Is this exclusive? So there can be this sort of external pressure to quantify, to put a word or a tag on something. It's really between you and your partner at the end of the day. The center card here is the Six of Swords. You or your partner could be distancing yourself from one another. You can be in the same room, but like reading your phone, or you could be sleeping in different rooms. You could be traveling a lot. The main thing that needs to be bridged is that distance, whether it's figurative or actual. We have two strong divine feminine energies here with Guinevere and the Queen of Swords. You're very similar. Sometimes when it's that similar, it's hard to see things the same way because you're both pushing to get your point of view. That was the sort of raising of your hand. Me, look at me, wait, I've got the answer. Or the kids will go, ooh, 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 like they're in pain, they have to get it out. So make sure that both of you are having this opportunity to be listened to be there for each other, and somebody is gonna have to take the initiative and say, let's hang out, let's do something tonight, and just put it on the calendar, or just say, I made reservations. Are you okay with that? Or I'd like to make reservations. Where do you want to go? Depends on how forward you want to be and how forward your partner likes you to be. I see positive movement here. I think there's a lot of room to have fun and play with the dreams, the fantasies, the opportunities. Everything looks good here. I do feel like if you're in a current relationship, it's good at the end of the day, but there is a little bit of listening and making sure that you're not taking that person for granted. Okay? If you are seeking a new relationship, and by the way, I know we're a little short on time, so I'll do my best to move along here. But if you're looking for a relationship, I would say the most important thing for you to remember is to hold your ground, and for some of you to get settled, because the Six of Swords is very much in flux. Your partner, your new connection, could also be coming from a different province, country, or background. So there could be someone coming in very evenly matched with the two queens here, okay? And I like what I see here. I also think that if there is new love coming in, strong physical component, strong friendship component as well. Just take your time. Don't force things. Be specific in what you're looking for. Make sure that you are listening to hopes, fears, and dreams with that fantasy card as well. Have the courage, because that's actually in hopes, fears, and opportunities, to talk about the fantasy, the dream, etc. So let me see if there's anything else that I want to talk about for you. I think the main thing for you when I'm looking at resources is you've got a lot going on in your life. So delegating is going to be a piece of this. So make sure that you're making some time to spend with this person or to spend on exploring what's available to you. If you're single and happy, Good for you. However, you're still going to have this really great attractive energy coming through with the Six of Cups right now. So I think as long as you're ready and willing to see where this takes you and be open to that, then some great things can come through. I think that revisiting old friendships could be something that you'd be focusing on in this period of time if you're not looking for new love. If you put any goals into motion, it's a really great time to see them come to fruition, because the Ace of Wands and Three of Wands create the Four of Wands, which is also, interestingly enough, partnership. So I feel like you're calling in good foundational energy, especially partnership, even if you're not looking for it. Across the board, it looks pretty good for how to deal with all of this. The main thing is not to give in to pressure. That's the number one thing that's kind of spotlighting itself. When I look at the big idea in a moment, I'm going to see if there's any other blocks or any other things that can help you with this, but that's part of it. All right. I want to kind of transition now, partly because we're running short on time here, to the final destiny card here in the expanded forecast. And we've got the fish here, and the fish card was reversed. So some of you are going counter to the flow. This can be both advantageous and frustrating. So the advantageous piece of this is when you go against the flow, a lot of times you stand out. You may bump into someone else or find someone else who's on that same sort of rebellious path that you were on. If you're going against the flow and every fiber of your being is saying you shouldn't, don't. Like, listen to environmental cues. So if everything's pushing you in a different direction, there may actually be a better way to do this. So ultimately, if it feels like you're pushing towards something that's invigorating, go for it. If you're pushing just to push, don't. Really make sure that you're doing something that feels right, and that I don't think you have to do this alone. That's what I'm going to say. I feel like if you're going in the opposite direction, there'll be someone else that's going in a different path too, and you two can kind of give each other a nod, and you'll look for an external synchronicity that this is the right time, the right space for it. Let's go ahead now and move on to the big idea. The big idea card is going to help you answer the original question, which is if we could pick one single thing, what could you focus on to make sure that the inner work is done in such a way that whoever you pull into your life, they're going to be better for the experience? Okay. Don't be so critical of yourself. Don't be overly critical of others. Do not fear taking the first step. Act, speak, and kind of move forward with that higher energy, which is kind of what I was talking about in the initial channeled messages. Ace of Swords reverse can be very critical sometimes. Like, I can't do this. It won't happen. That's not going to happen. It can also be constructive. It can say, this is a good start, but we need to focus on this, this, and this. If you need to have criticism, be constructive, but avoid too much negativity or critical thought. Instead, focus on, this is my goal and I'm going to move toward it. There are areas of improvement. This is what I'm going to do about the areas of improvement. And the most important thing is I believe in my capacity to accomplish what I set my mind out to do. I believe I can do this. I believe, I have faith, I trust. Let's see where it takes me. That's what you need to focus on. Inner belief, inner knowing. And just glancing at the cards one last time, don't give in to pressure. What you're looking for may already be there. If you don't feel it, don't do it. Don't do more than you're supposed to do. Be specific. All of these things can help you be who you need to be. You already have strong divine feminine energy that came through. It feels like some of you have one foot in and one foot out with the Six of Swords. So I think the big decision for you is, am I ready to move? And when do I want this to happen? Because interestingly enough, sometimes we are the source of our own delays. Because when things start to happen, it's like when we saw the High Priestess in reverse. Was she on Thursday, I think? So on Thursday of this upcoming week, focus on not being in that sort of energy of disbelief. All that you're bringing in, and it's going to be okay, all right? It's time to grow, and it's time to know and recognize that growth when you see it. Now we can move on to the final portion. All right, so we have two final things that we're going to do here. One is a meditation. This will help us solidify everything that we kind of talked about and heal. I'll keep it a little bit briefer today since we're at time here. And then I'll give plenty of time for you to meditate on your final question, and I'll pull a card, and then I'll just say thanks at the end. Please, before we get into the meditation, if you haven't done so, subscribe, hit the like button, and then just relax. And if you want to follow me on social media, I'll post a link right now. Apologies for not doing that sooner. It's just been a busy day today. And then let's get ready for today's meditation. I think what I'd like to help you really embrace today is we have all these wands and we have this energy of sort of like an opportunity to stand out, right? So I think what we could do today is to help you find a way to just sort of like come out of your shell. I think I'm just going to choose the instrument today, probably the crystal pyramid, but we'll see, to play. So don't worry about it because we don't have as much time for voting on this. All right, so as we get into the meditation, I just want you to close your eyes, take a deep breath. As you exhale, let go of any preconceived notions, especially the ones that say something has to be done in a certain way, shape, or form. You're beyond that at this point in time. I want to do something with flying, and I think that we're going to move with the energy of metamorphosis here. So let's use a moth because it is an interesting symbol. We always do the butterfly. So let's use the cocoon energy of the moth. I want you to imagine that around you, you're wrapping yourself in all this beautiful warm light. Today, because we had so much fiery energy, let's use the color yellow or orange, or you can do sort of like orange, yellow, white, the color of the sun, basically. See it starting to emanate from your solar plexus, and imagine that each breath you take, you could just see halos of light surrounding each and every part of your body, creating this cocoon of light, something that you can push out of if you need, but there's this protective energy around you. If there's any part of your past that you need to let go of, see yourself now making peace with that, sending it on the Six of Swords boat to greener pastures, to a better tomorrow. Focus now on the new you, that you, as you gaze into a mirror or into the water, I want you to see who you'd like to be, what you'd like to be in your life. And imagine that in your energetic form anyway, you're starting to embody that. See the cocoon starting to now morph into beautiful wings that are wrapping around your body, and spread out those wings. And like a moth or even a phoenix rising from the ashes, I want you to feel this sense of upward momentum, upward growth. Keep reaching higher until in your mind you think, I've got this. I went further than I thought. There's still more possible, but I'm exactly where I need to be right now. So keep reaching, keep elevating your thoughts, relax for a moment. I'm going to play the crystal pyramid, and then we'll take a look at your final card. All right, everybody, take a nice deep breath. See yourself drifting towards your destination. See the other person. See the future version of yourself, sitting there completely at ease, completely comfortable with who you are, who you've become, and what you've called into your life. Hold this vision now and always, and open your eyes when you're ready. And let's focus now on your final card. Whatever question I didn't answer, meditate on it silently now. And let's see what the universe is bringing forth as an answer to this. So we have the Four of Wands, which I love here. I was talking about this a moment ago. I said you take the Three of Wands and the Ace of Wands and you get this. The card is reversed, so a couple of notes about this. First thing is that this tells me it's an auspicious sort of card. It says that you're setting the foundations for something good to happen in your life. Timing, you've maybe done as much as you can. Now just keep showing up and keep trusting, because there could be a little bit of a delay, or it could be coming from out of left field, and that's almost what this particular card shows here. So trust that you're being supported on your path. You can do it on your own. You can also do it with the support of someone else if you'd like. I like the homecoming message on this, which is telling me that when you find this sort of energy, then it feels like you're coming home. It feels like this is someone that I've been looking for. Whether, again, it's friend, partner, lover. It's pretty good, actually. I'm happy that we got the Six of Cups and the Four of Wands. That is the koi fish spirit energy that I was talking about, something that's going to be there for the long haul. So things look pretty good here. As a yes, no, it's a yes, asterisk, possibly with a delay. As general advice, it's saying support may be coming in, and there's just a question of are you ready to receive it? Are you ready to receive the partnership that wants to come in as well? And for some of you, you have to just kind of create and hold the space before something can show up as well. So just keep doing what you're doing. This is a very good indicator, very positive in the horizon, and it usually does mean that someone or something's coming into your life. Remember when we talked about next Sunday being the beginning of a sort of chain? So see what's going on over the course of the next week. It may manifest before then for some of you, and say yes to something and see where that leads, okay? That, my friends, is everything. I do want to say thanks to everyone that gave back. You still have a couple minutes to do so before I wrap up here. I want to begin by giving some gratitude to both Dakota and Maria, who did a fantastic job in moderating today. Thank you for always being here, for sticking around a couple minutes. Again, the last couple weeks have gone longer. I may have to look at trimming something out because it's just, I want to keep it to 2 hours if I can. But thank you for showing up, for supporting me, and for being here. I want to also say thanks to everyone that's been here for the past 7+ years. I appreciate your support. To all the new folks, I want to give just a quick shout out. So let me do that, and then we'll wrap up for today. As I'm getting everything set up today, a reminder that I will be live tomorrow for Pisces. I'll also be doing a special presentation on Thursday for just because. Sometimes I do an extra reading, and I'm going to do an extra bonus reading this month. All right, so let's begin with anybody that joined as a member today. So give me a second here to pull this up and put my glasses on so I can read this. All right, so new members within the past day. I want to welcome back, I should say, J.G. Butler for rejoining after 11 months. A new member here today, Sylvia Bentley. I think I saw you when I first got ready this morning, so thank you for joining. Leonie Leung, thank you so much for rejoining after 13 months. Goddess of the Garden, 8 months and just rejoined. Let's see, we have Angel. Angel, I actually said welcome to the other day. So that's everybody. Great. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at anybody that gave back with super stickers or super chat for today. Give me one moment here and we'll look at this. All right, so we have a decent amount today. I'll try to move as quickly as possible. Thank you to C. Megan72 for kicking things off today. I appreciate you. Jen Doyle, Myra Rodriguez, Elizabeth Quigley, Robin Redman, Ms. Optimistic, Pretty Okani, I think it is. Thank you so much. Melanie Schaefer, Kathis L, Christina DMS Wiki, I think it is. MVM, Cindy Toshik, Valori, Cindy Chen, Kimberly Blackwood, thank you to all of you. Tinks, Lily, Linda Vista, let's see, Karen McDevitt, I think it is, thank you. April Golowick, Lexi B, Phoebe Alona, I'm going to stop at that one, just say thank you. Kathy Ahern, Jules in July, Wendy Wright, Muggle 1983, Yasmina, Mahima Lalit, Jordan Gloss, Isabel, Rachel or Raquel Robinson, thank you. Sophie LeBreton, AB, Sonette LaRue, Conscious Candace, Sue Bennett, Anita Day, Darkstar Alchemy, Missy Kavanaugh Carrier, and last two, Christy Randolph and Crystal McKnight. Let me see if I missed anyone. Ingrid Bergman, thank you very much. And I think I got everyone. Thank you. If I missed anyone, I know that my moderators had a chance to say thank you, and I always review afterwards to make sure that I see all the names. So thank you so much, everyone, for making today a really special presentation. Thanks for sticking around until the end. I know it was a couple minutes late. Again, here's a quick link to my schedule, which I also pinned just in case you need it. Hope to see you both Monday if you're Pisces or want to show up, and then also on Thursday for the bonus reading. I'll be back on Friday, kicking it off again with Aries for the following month. All right, everyone, have a fantastic weekend, a fantastic month ahead for those of you that are watching the monthlies. And until I see you, take care. All right, bye-bye.